Yeah.
I mean, to go to that, really, it's a question I think that at least I keep coming back around to from Mark's perspective and trying to think about, the customers and what this has, what this means for our customers and perhaps future customers. If you're an SME, let's say you're an owner of an SME, or and in contrast to that, you're also a new person entering the industry or an industry. You've just left university, maybe you've just left college, and you're entering the market. Can you just give like an overview from both sides as to what that will mean for them moving forward? I know we touched on a little bit about terms of adoption, but I guess first starting off with the SME owner, what should they be? What does it ultimately mean for them and their staff, and then kind of leading into that next generation of people coming through?
Yeah. Look, I think SMEs at the moment are the fastest adopters of this.
Yep.
It's booming in the SME space. And I think one of the big things that you almost got to ask yourself is, if I'm not doing this, is my competition?
Yeah.
Because what it can do is it can help you scale immensely. I mean, there's conversations at the moment talking about like the idea of like a super team, where you effectively have 5 specialists in an area. Each of them have a tool stack that's got agents and all of that involved, and they effectively get deployed, start doing their work, and things get done. So you can get lean, you can get mean, you can work a lot faster.
Yeah.
You can eliminate a lot of the. I think the number one look, a lot of that is still going to come. I think the number one thing at the moment is eliminate the tedious tasks.
Yeah.
The stuff that bogs down a staff.
Yeah.
The stuff that takes up your time. We were talking the other day saying, what do you do with this extra time? A lot of businesses don't have a lot of time to be strategic nowadays.
Yeah.
So they've got one person in the business who's got the ability to go and say, okay, this is the strategy that we're going on. They've got a lot of skilled people around them who probably have an ability to go and say, well,
some insight.
Let's have a look at this. You can probably build that time in nowadays to be able to go and say, okay, cool, which direction are we actually heading? Is this the right way? Are we refining our processes well enough? Are we having a look at the best ways to go and do this? All of those things you don't have time to really do and make life easier. The SME markets, that's gold. I mean, a lot of the time in an SME space, you're kind of looking at, it's move and feel kind of, what's working. You're testing different ways to operate. You're testing different processes and all of that. This gives you the ability to go and say, well, all of that time that's accumulated through the week, that's off to the side, and I know it's being done right.
Yeah, and I think without AI, I think in that environment, in that situation, it's very easy, I think, to be in those meetings going, we don't have time to be spending on this. We've got these things, this to do, that to do, this to. I mean, I've been there. You've probably been there. I think lots of people have been there where you're thinking, this, the strategy is the most important thing to the business, the guidance, what you're doing, where you're going, and why. But often I think you can be in a meeting like that and you're thinking, I've got this to do, that to do, that to do.
Yeah, you're not even paying attention to the meeting in front of you, right?
You're too distracted perhaps by all these pressures. And that exists more so in SMEs than anywhere else, especially new, because you're figuring it out. You're testing things, you're trialing things, you're trying to innovate.
On the line,
You're less established, you haven't got perhaps the financial resource to scale to the level that perhaps the big players in your market would. And I think it's very easy to kind of then just get distracted by it. But again, then in contrast to that, juxtapose it to a situation where you have an agent that's kind of doing those tasks or picking up some of it. And now you've got the time to actually pay attention to the thing that probably is the most valuable to not only the business, but probably to yourself as well in your personal development.
100%.
Which wouldn't exist before.
And I mean, that's just going to scale up as well. I mean, what I kind of have a look at in the next couple of months is that you're probably going to be able to kind of get an operations agent that can kind of sit within your operations team, analyzing workflows, having a look at all of the information that's coming through, and then kind of putting suggestions up to your operations director, whatever the case is, for example, to go and say, we can probably gain some efficiency over here, or let's move the average time that our people are sitting in calls is 30 minutes, but our our average, when you book a Teams meeting, you've always got like your set time. Sometimes it's 45, sometimes it's an hour. You can immediately change that. Maybe that creates a change in the business. But then it's for the operations director to go and say, "Oh, it's a good idea," or "No, that's absolutely awful." Like you're thinking about utopia here, Mr. Agent. So you've got all of those different areas. I mean, that's just one area of the business. So in a while, we're going to start to see businesses really interacting with this AI in a very different way, where it's going to be analyzing the business for you. So you don't really need to spend a whole lot of time putting out fires.
Giving you the data, giving you the task, giving you the information you need. To make decisions on stuff, still keep control of it, as we talked about earlier, but clearing that list of things that you would otherwise have to have done yourself.
100%. And I think for the SME market at the moment, any competitive advantage that you can get makes a difference. If you can build a quote, I mean, for any sales team, if you can build a quote faster than your competition, you've got an advantage there. If you can build out beautiful notes after every call that's got next steps, it's got the notes from the actual call, some of the challenges that are on there that gets sent straight to the customer directly after the call, and then your notes are put into the CRM, and that's already done. You've just eliminated potentially 45 minutes of the salesperson's time, and salespeople hate nothing more than admin. You've just made sure that the notes are being done in a correct way, in a good way. The information going into the CRM is good, and the salesperson's a little bit happier. So
they're like, oh, thank goodness, it's something I didn't want to. Just like we talked about earlier, oh, thank goodness, it's something I didn't want to do. So it's, I think the concern, the doom and gloom, the panic, for existing staff doesn't really need to be there, because it's really just going to take away the tedious, the boring, the mundane, and then the monotonous, however you want to frame it.
And then that impacts the rest of the business, because now you've got,
people are going to be happier, probably. You're
happier. But you also got the business owner who's going into the CRM, and when they're looking at the notes, they know that what they're seeing is correct, and it's not.
It's actually there for a start.
It's there for a start, and it's also not the whimsical delusions. Like some people, I've always been a guy that's kind of doom and gloom in the notes in a CRM. I'm not ready to put this to committee yet, whatever the case is. I'm not ready to push this forward because I don't have 100% of the information. Some people look at it and they're like, done deal, man. So it eliminates that. So you're getting you can create a real source of truth from your information now. So